Hello, and welcome to my hack and slash gameplay commentary. Here I'll be describing the gameplay mechanics and controls. Okay, to start, press square for your light combo, triangle for your heavy, and you're free to mix and match the buttons however way you like to create new attacks. Note that some of your attacks will project a sort of red aura. That means that attack will either knock back the enemy, uppercut, or stun the enemy, which is useful for as they're effective for breaking enemy guard. X is for jumping. Circle charges your mana. Such. R3 locks on to the closest enemy in the scene. So in this level, this gem represents our enemy, sort of like a training dummy. Right. L1 is for blocking, R1 is for dashing. If you dash shortly after just doing a dash, you do a secondary dash, which is pretty much the same thing, but it has a longer recovery time. Blocking and dashing can be used to cancel out your basic attacks whenever, really, as such. Right. L2 and R2 open up your ability shortcuts. So if I hold on L2, you see this little menu pop up, and you see like the symbols for the face buttons appear. So if I hold on L2 and X, I do the skill adjacent next to that symbol. So this is L2 and X, L2 and square. One particular skill I like is R2 and square, which is done by, after pressing R2 and square, you rapidly press and you sort of release this barrage of blades. It has an alternate version as well, so after I press R2 and square, while in this state, if I press triangle, I do a sort of a concentrated version. They both deal the same amount of damage, cost the same amount, but one's like, since it spawns the blade in a closer zone, it's better for single target, but it's also harder to hit enemies with it because enemies, they're fairly agile in this game. Alright. Special attacks can be used to cancel out of basic attacks, blocks, and dashes as such. So, like such. There you see I cancel out as a secondary dash. Note that some icons, they have either a black or a white box around them. If it's white, it means I have enough mana to cast that skill. If it's black, I can still cast a skill if I choose to, but if I do, I'll reach below 0 mana, and my mana bar will turn white. While it's white, it means I can't cast any more spells until it reaches a certain point. So, in this case, until it reaches the halfway point. While you're in the air, you have a different set of skills as well. Alright. Special attacks, they can't be cancelled out of like basic attacks, so you can't block or evade out of them. You can, however, jump to cancel out of them as such, but if you do that, you can't double jump, meaning so this sort of means that you can't cancel out your attack until you land it on the ground again, which is sort of like again, it's like saying you can cancel out if you attack once every like second or half a second, depending on how far off you're off the ground. Alright. This next technique, I sort of designed it to sort of separate good players from great players. And how it works is that when you attack an enemy, while your weapon is inside the enemy hitbox, by pressing circle, you activate this technique. And what it is you drain energy from the target, and it resets all your variables. So it resets your double jump, and it nulls the special attack status. So I just spent some energy. Alright. Here you can see there's sort of a darker slash mark. That's like visual feedback saying that you've managed to pull this off. Yeah, and you can see that I can keep jumping so long as I get my timing right. And this can be used to this sort of removes the limits that special attacks have, and just allows you to mix and match like anything together, so long as you get the timing right. So as such, there, what I did here. So I use this technique, and then while I was in the air, I nullified the special attack status, and then I rapidly use this technique, which is air, jump, air, R2 and X. And while my weapon was inside the enemy hitbox, by pressing circle, I regained some of my mana, and I was able to cancel the special attack status, and then just combo with the same attack, creating this sort of endless cycle. As such. And there's pretty much no limit as to what you can mix and match with what. So long as you press circle while your character is inside or your weapon is inside the enemy hitbox, you can pull off this technique. Another combo that I practiced is this one. So that's a special attack that can only be done while you're dashing. Normally, you'd have to wait until the attack's finished before you can dash again and use the skill again. But by pressing circle while your character is inside the target, you null special attack, and that means that the attack can be evade cancelled out of, dash cancelled out of. So you can sort of create this endless cycle. And I'm also refreshing my mana while doing so. So I sort of create a sort of endless loop, as long as I can pull it off. In this level, it's it's a lot of good practice it's good practice to train on this target because it's got a fairly large hitbox. So it's quite easy to pull off this technique. And it takes quite a bit of getting used to, as different attacks they have different attack animations, so therefore it's a different timing. That about wraps up the core gameplay mechanics. There's a few extra stuff, such as while you're holding down block, if you press circle, you sort of spawn this barrier, which sort of blocks all projectiles, enemy projectiles that is. Block and X is sort of a counter stance. It's very specific on the timing, so if you get hit at a certain time, you like do the secondary attack, which shoots this burst around you. If you look at my hack and slash gameplay where I fight the mob of enemies, you'll see me use it a few times. Sometimes I hit and miss, you'll get a rough idea on what the timing's like. Pressing block and square will pull you towards them, block and triangle will pull them towards you. There's also another ability. By pressing circle and triangle together after a certain event, you do a special attack. So while pressing square, if I press circle and triangle, you just kind of punch, which is pretty powerful, moderate strength, and it knocks enemies back, which is a good way to break enemy guard and to finish a combo if you need to get some distance and you don't want to dash. Triangle is different. You just triple strike, good range, and it knocks. And you notice that it has that flaming aura at the end, so it knocks enemies back at the end of the combo. Good reach. It does more damage, but it's less immediate. Also, it's purely for damage rather than the square version, which has better utility. There's also this technique. So while you're holding down circle, if you press triangle, you switch stances. While in the stance, you regain mana, and when you release, you sort of access a new string of combos as such. Not as powerful as your special attacks, but it's faster to pull off. Alright then, that about wraps up for the gameplay mechanics. Hopefully now you'll be able to better understand what's going on during the gameplay videos. And thank you for watching. Bye.